Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Nissan Armada SV. Huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this jumbo SUV for me today. Take a look at their website because they're always getting in some pretty cool, pretty much brand new inventory. That link is down in the description. So this Armada is finished off in gun metallic with an MSRP of right around $58,000. And this is powered by a 5.6 liter V8 that's paired to the 7-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 400 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque. This is primarily rear-wheel drive, however it does have the four-wheel drive system. It weighs in just under 6,000 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. Top speed is 118 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 26 gallons. You'll expect to see around 13 miles per gallon in the city, 18 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 121.1 inches. Its overall length is 208.9. It has a width of 79.9, a height of 75.8, and its ground clearance measures in at 9.1 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Armada SV, being the SV trim level, it's more on the basic entry-level side. There are some other trim levels that you can go with that are higher, of course, to give you some more tech and features. But for this SV, Nissan is massive in the center with the white logos, just like on most of the Nissan lineup. And for the grille, chrome surrounds the sides and lower section, and there's plenty of cutouts with the gloss black horizontal pieces running throughout it. Now this does get LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. I really like the rounded off design that they have with the bodywork in the middle, and then the strip is separated with the turn signal and the DRL. This also has fog lights in the lower section with some more chrome accents. Parking sensors are up front too. And there's a dark gray trim for that entire middle section of the bumper. And then some lines that come down the hood. They actually extend with these outer sections of the grille surround and go all the way up to the base of the hood there. Now for the side, pretty simple 18-inch set of wheels. They have a good design to them though, match well with this color, multi-spoke design. And then there's a chrome trim accent just above the tire, and we have the two-tone for the side mirrors with the turn signal as well. Roof racks up top, surprisingly no sunroof for just under 60K. But this has some fender arches that have a cool design to them, built-in side step too. It's a big SUV, so it makes it easy to get in and out. And I think it looks really good. There's a line just above the side mirrors. It goes from front to back, of course. And there's some nice bulges just above the rear fender arch. Now this has the body colored spoiler, brake light with the windshield wash or the wiper blade in the lower section, LED taillights, and we have more chrome that runs right through that power liftgate. There's the backup camera with all the parking sensors too, and some more of that brushed trim or the dark gray right in the middle that matched up front. This can also tow right around 8,500 pounds, so very capable if you have some heavy trailers. Now you can also remote start this, so let's hold this top button and it will start up. If you need it to, you can hold on that button to shut it off too. Now there's no release on the key fob for the trunk, which is interesting to note. So you do have to go up underneath. It's not power operated either. And then in back, as you can tell, there are some items, but with the third row up, you still have a good bit of space. Underneath, you can actually lift this up too, and you get a small compartment, maybe for like the tool kits or something like that. It's really not all that large, but you have a little bit of space. There's a 12 volt too, and some tie down hooks. And then the third row is manual to fold down. So you can see with that one down, it's pretty easy to do. And there's really no grab handle like in some other vehicles. So at 5'10", I have a struggle to reach that. So if you're shorter than me, that's gonna be a little bit interesting. I'm not sure most vehicles that have a manual go all the way to the bottom, so you can grab it. Interesting to note. But you have the ability to fold those down. You can fold down the second row too if you need more space. Grab handles on that passenger side. Got a little bit of weight to it, but you can easily close that. Now let's work our way to the back seating. Door panel is covered in leather, which is a nice touch. We have chrome for the release handle, automatic window, and then for the back, we have a bench style for the second row, finished off in black leather. And then to gain access to the third row, there is a control up here that you can use. I'm just gonna use the recline down below, and we'll pop up the entire seat. And just on this side though, so you do have that other one, and it's a bit of a step up to get into this third row. Now we do have 3 seats in the back too. So you have an 8-seater SUV, cup holders on that passenger side, same with the driver's side. I'm 5'10", and my head is just up against the headliner. Now, as you saw earlier, pulling on this tab, I can actually recline the seat, which is so much more comfortable than this one being in the upright position. My knees are a little bit high, so it's doable. It's definitely made for smaller kids, but if I had to be back in here, I could make it work for its size. And then as we work our way back to the second row, pretty easy to flip up. We have the running board and a side step too, or a grab handle if you need to use it. Plenty of space down below for my feet. There's storage pockets. Right in the middle, if you push on that button, check that out. We have storage basically on the back side. When you flip this up, it is the same spot. So the same area, just 2 different ways. That is cool to note. Now underneath that, we do have all the climate adjustments for your fan speed, temperature, things like that. And then I have plenty of space for this second row. I can even recline these seats, and check this out. I mean, that's almost a foot of space. So you really don't have any issues as far as headroom goes for your second row. And right in the middle, you have the armrest with 2 cup holders if you need to use them. And then working our way to the driver door panel, we do have the lock button on the chrome door handle. And then up front, same leather, all of the window controls, side mirror adjustments too. Lots of space in that lower section. And then the automatic front seats, finished off in the same leather. You even get more leather on the steering wheel. Now on the left side, there's tuning, volume, as well as some other controls to go through the gauge cluster. And on the right side, we do have adaptive cruise. So there's distance pacing, you have Bluetooth and voice commands along with the cruise control settings. But let's fire this up now. We can go over the rest of this gauge cluster. So on the left side, there's engine temperature, as well as the tach. Right side is miles per hour and the fuel level. And then I can use those arrows on the left side to further go through all of this information. Check out the amount of info you can go through. You can even customize that home screen if you'd like to. You have some vitals to look at, some of the safety features like the blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, cruise control. You have some other gauges to look at, even music. You have a compass, fuel economy, and then the home screen there. And then on the left side, you do have a control for all of those safety features that you can turn on and off. Some blank switches, of course, being the SV. And then right in the middle, we have a massive infotainment system that's actually angled away from the driver. So it's interesting to see. It is a touchscreen system though. So you can go through all of this as needed. We can quickly get back to the home, go into some settings. There's also a few settings on the home screen. So you can customize those as you need to, and it's a split style with the music over on that right side. You can also use the controls located down below. So there's map, menu, audio, a rotary dial, and then even a camera button on the back side. So you can get to some of those settings, and of course get back to your menu, scroll through all this using that rotary dial. Now there's power and volume, tuning, a few other controls for that, 2 air vents, and then all the climate adjustments, including the heated seats, are right in the middle. Dual zone for the temperature, along with the rest of the controls. You even have the rear climates, which you can turn on and off and control as needed. Armada is spelled out just underneath that. And then if I push up underneath that tab, we have the wireless charging pad along with a 12 volt. It's an interesting design to see it that way, to open that up to get into it, but there is a small lip there so your phone's not going to fall out. A few more auxiliaries located underneath that. Even a trailer braking system is to the right. Now this does have 4 high, 4 low. You also have a tow mode, a snow mode, and traction control around that rotary dial. There's 2 cup holders on the right side. And then with this in reverse, we have the backup camera with the guidelines. You can of course shift using the shifter too if you need to. And then right in the middle, here's a better look at the amount of space that is in there. And then with the glove box, of course, you have an extra amount of space. And then up top, there is a sunglass holder, and then you have the dome lights on both sides. Now, one thing to note, there is no sunroof for this jumbo SUV. Very interesting to see in today's world. Sunroofs come on pretty much every vehicle. But aside from that, really easy to see all around. Let's go ahead and get this jumbo SUV out on the road. As we set off now behind the wheel for the Nissan Armada, first thing that I want to talk about before we get to the pricing is how high up you sit in this SUV. I have the seat all the way down. I can raise it up, I'm not sure if you can see that, and put it down. This is as low as it goes. We do have the automatic adjusting steering wheel, so I can at least bring that up. But you sit very, very high up. It's different from other SUVs that I've driven. That's why I bring it up. It just has a different feeling to it. Not to say it's bad, but I feel higher than the steering wheel, even with the steering wheel all the way up. So you definitely can see where you're going and what you're doing because you have a good visual over the size of this hood here. But let's get back to that pricing. Basically just under 60K, and you have several different options to go with depending on the trim level, of course, and your budget. For this model here, it's a little bit more on the basic side. We have no sunroof. We do have some creature comforts and some tech features, which is nice, but even no release for that trunk on the key fob. So it's interesting to point out, just because of the amount of tech that cars are having, to see something a little bit more basic, especially for this price point, is interesting to note. But if you don't want any of those extra bells and whistles, anything fancy, I don't want to knock this vehicle because it doesn't have those. It just seems like something that's getting more mainstream. Of course, when you don't see something with it, you're like, why doesn't it have something like the sunroof, which should be standard almost on every vehicle? But not a lot of people like that. So if you don't want a sunroof, it's a good option to go with. Personally, I've never really had any vehicles that have had a sunroof. I had one, but I didn't really use it all that much. So I can see someone not really wanting it or even using it. A lot of people don't really like the full moonroofs, or they want to be able to option it without a moonroof and get something like this. So again, it's a good option if you don't need all of those fancy bells and whistles. And with a mild acceleration, we got plenty of power for this. It's not underrated by any means. So we got that power to get it up to speed, as well as tow if you have any trailers, anything like that. So driving the Nissan Armada, it seems to be pretty smooth, very quiet and comfortable so far at the speeds that I'm going. And with it in second gear, we can shift using the shifter, give it some gas. Pretty good for this type of vehicle. You're not really going to use this shifter much. Maybe if you're towing, or if you are in the four-wheel drive system, for some reason you need to hold a gear. But it seems to be pretty responsive for the shifter that it is. A lot of vehicles do have that just in case you need a little bit more power or something like that. But it shifts fine. Shifts are also very smooth. For a big SUV like this, you can't even feel the downshifts, which is pretty cool. But now that we're behind the wheel of this $60,000 SUV, I don't want to knock on this vehicle, but I want to say there's some other competitors out there for a similar price that would definitely give you a lot more options than this SV. So comment down below if this Armada SV is something that you would buy, as everything that you've seen in today's video. What are your thoughts behind that, with some of the tech features that it might be missing over some other competitors that even would have ventilated seats up front, for example, or heated and ventilated second row seats for a similar price? And again, I don't want to knock it. Some people just may not ever use those. They don't want them, or there's other reasons, of course. So let me know your thoughts on this. Personally, I would like some of that other tech for the money. But if you want something that's a little bit less tech savvy, it's a good option to go with. I do like how it drives. I like everything that it has. It just, for me, I would go with a higher trim level, I guess, is basically what I'm saying. So it is cool that you do have different trim levels, but for the price, you can get a lot more features. So let me know your thoughts on that. But other than that, I do think it's nice. It's functional for the type of vehicle that it is, and if this is all you're looking for, basically. But that will wrap it up for the 2023 Nissan Armada SV. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this jumbo SUV for me today. Check out their website, give the video a huge thumbs up, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.